All right. We're finishing the morning here. I am actually red, $389. So a pretty decent sized red day. Um, I knew, coming into the morning, it was definitely felt a lot slower, a lot less volume in the market. And I even, said this on the recap yesterday that I have to treat every day like new, and like I can't expect the market to be hot at the next day. I can't expect another big green day or a very hot day, and I always have to be anticipating the market ahead of me. And here I am, kind of fell into that trap that I was looking at. I kind of just I don't know, I just couldn't help myself, and I took a very aggressive position in REV, and I actually took a really big loss. I was down at one point over $500, um, and thank God I didn't realize, $500 loss. I was able to dwindle that down to 389. But it's quite unfortunate that I wasn't able to discipline myself to take the foot off the gas. I wanted to press. I wanted to have another big green day, and even I was aware of it. I still couldn't help myself to get really aggressive in a colder market. So that's just something that I need to work on, and I don't think that taking the day off today was the answer, even though my statistics say that. My statistics say that after a really big green day, it always is followed by 90% of the time it's followed by the biggest loss to date, or a pretty big loss. And I was aware of that coming into today, but I didn't think that taking the day off would be the right solution to that, because you really don't know if the day is going to be hot. You really don't know if you're going to have a green day, and you want to be able to exercise your discipline on times like this, because then you can learn to trust yourself coming into every day. And instead of taking the day, I don't want to just take the day off because I can't trust myself to make sound decisions in the market, and kind of make my decisions on the fly in the market, because I have no discipline. I want to be able to develop the discipline needed to be able to come into a day like today and size down to a quarter or half size, and really being extra patient today. But today I wasn't able to do that. I was very aggressive, thinking, I don't know, I just couldn't help myself. I couldn't get myself out of the state that I was in yesterday. I wanted to trade today like I was trading yesterday because it worked out so well. And I thought, I guess I just felt like it would be the same results. But it just didn't work out that way, and I didn't have the discipline to take my share size off. Um, so to lower my share size, and then I was up here. I was down, like here you can see my intraday P&L. I never got green today. I never got green. I was red going into the open, about $100 red. I was down $550 at one point. In one trade, I was down $400. But then I came back a little bit. Now I'm at kind of like a normal size loss here. You can see I've had two other losses that were at this size. So, I'm not unfamiliar with, this size of loss. I've had it before, and it's not that big compared to all the green days I've had. This week I've had three solid green days: 400, 382, and 574. So I'm giving back like one average green day of this month. So that's really nothing. I can make this back in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days at max, if the market is really slow. So, I'm not too worried about that. However, hopefully I come in next week. We have Monday, we have off. So next week I want to come in, and I just don't want to have another day like today, because then it's going to be, well, now I just doubled the hole that I'm in, and it just makes it much harder and harder to get back to the highs. And ideally, the way I was able to stay at such to stay profitable is by not falling too far off the high of my profit on my not falling too far off the high of my cumulative profit, and kind of staying near the highs and waiting for the market to come back. And so maybe Tuesday again I need to exercise my discipline this time for real and size down and focus on just getting green. $100, $200 is cool, and then walking away. That's what I should have done today. And even going into the open with a loss, I should have definitely, all the blinking lights are going off, the caution lights are going off, and I still, I pressed pedal to the metal, and I wiped out a little bit. So it's unfortunate as well that I'm gonna have to think about this for the rest of the weekend, a long weekend. But maybe that's what I need, so I don't have another day like this. Get some time away from the loss. But here you can see my share size is increasing gradually. So a $300 loss is really not that much. My win rate was only 47%, so the lowest I usually have, and that makes sense because I didn't really have many big green trades today. And let's take a look at my week. Yesterday I was sitting at about over 1,500 on the week, which would be my biggest green week. And then today I gave back 380, so I'm still sitting at 1,121 on the week, which is still by far my biggest week I've ever had. So everything is kind of still pointing in the right direction. I didn't give back so much profit to where it ruined my week or ruined my month. So definitely, good. I made over 1,000 in profits, and I now have a new goal to shoot for. And also on the month, I am on track of having another biggest month to date. So that's also good, which means that I'm keeping my losers small and I'm staying consistently green over the long term. So let's go into my trades to show you guys where I took my fat loss on REV. So let's see what did I trade first here. Let me pull this up. So I first traded REV was the pre-market trade. So we barely got any fresh gappers today. We had blue and MREO, but I didn't like any of those. So here I was looking for a break of this high here at 333. And, I was sizing in for the break, and it pulls back. And I get shaken out, pulls back a little bit too hard of my liking. And then it pops back up, so I start buying, looking for that breakout, and it just doesn't have the power to punch through. And it pulls back again, take another loss there. And these are small losses. I'm only in small share size. Again, here now it breaks out kind of without me. I get caught chasing a little bit, only taking small profits. Again, nothing really significant here. I didn't hold for this break of this next high, and it kind of broke out and then came back. It's just very, very choppy. Super choppy. And then here again, it broke over 360. It was holding, and I took my position, 362, looking, for the break at 369. And it pulled back and closed underneath this level, and I had to take that for a small loss. And then we traded also pre-market MREO. So let's take a look at MREO. This one I got for a break of this high. Again, though, it's just so thick and didn't break out the way that I wanted to. And I only got a scratch on that one. And then it kind of ripped up and then had a huge pin bar here. Or I forget what you call it. Gravestone Doji. And I closed this one out for a scratch as well. So nothing there. Then here I was looking for a break of 130. So here I was looking for the break of that 130 level. Jesus. All right, I'm lost. All right, here we go. So looking at the break of 130, so I'm adding 130, then add at 132, take a little bit of profit, and then I'm adding on this first pullback after a fresh breakout, and I'm thinking we're gonna run, we're starting to curl up into the open, and usually when that happens, it kind of just all comes in and rips up as the market opens, and then you either get, a dip or it keeps going. So I thought that's what we're gonna have. We're gonna do a 1 minute pullback, rip up, and then the market's gonna open. That's what I thought. That's what I thought this is gonna pan out like. So I take that position, and then this candle comes in, and I start taking my small losses as it's pulling back underneath that breakout level of 130, and so that's another small loss. And then here at the open on MREO, here, it's holding up quite well. I take my position and I take a small loss because it didn't have that follow through. I was looking for like a gap. Like I wanted to squeeze, and the MREO just did not have much power. And then it pulled back, but still holding 90 EMA. So I take like a panic dip buy off of here, taking small profits there, still holding 250 shares, and then I get in 3,000 shares at 131, and then we pop up, but I don't even get a good fill on it. And I get back in for the break of this candle, and we pop up, and again I don't get a good fill on it. So here again we had a pullback to the 9 EMA, and this is where the chart is kind of wonky here. It kind of breaks out and then pulls back underneath the breakout level, and then pops back up and then pulls back, and it's just like, what the heck is going on here? And now I'm looking for the break of this candle here at 139. So I'm adding at 137, but it's just not holding the breakout, and I stop out for a small loss. But MREO was a very small share size. It was such a thick stock, and I ended up about scratch, only up $4 on it, which is nothing. So then let's go up to what is it, REV. I'll just show you this for a second. Here we had a beautiful red to green, and then I'm kind of a little patient here. It kind of breaks out, keeps going, and then this candle comes in. I'm like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna take a smarter position. Of course I get filled at the high here. I buy at the high, and as soon as I buy for checks. But, I was only in 100 shares, so I'm thinking about, accumulating a large position because it's looking good to squeeze out through the high. And then, this candle comes in, it's still holding, Now, volume is coming in, and it's retesting 350, so I was thinking we could pop up, and I add to my position, and then adding as it's going higher, up to 360. And I wanted to see the breakout of this high here, at 368, and as it's breaking into the 60s, I'm accumulate a like 3,000 share position looking for that squeeze. I was in a lot. My risk was way too high, and look how how many green candles there were in a row without any sort of big consolidation. So that should have been the red flag there, not to do this. But, I had a little bit of FOMO. I was right on the day. And, I wanted to get green. Volume's increasing. So at this point, I'm like, all right, maybe it's going to squeeze out. It seems good. And we kissed 66, 2 cents off the high that I'm looking for to break. We start pulling back. And I'm like, all right, I got to start lowering my amount of shares that I'm in. And we try again, and it doesn't go. So I start, selling for a small loss, and then it pulls back, and I start, getting in just on the 1 minute pullback. I'm like, oh, it's just gonna do a 1 minute pullback before we break. So, I'm still in about 2,000 shares, and I add 1,000 back to 3,000 at 352. This candle comes in and it just pulls back so much, and I get filled right at the bottom of this candle at 337. It pops back up, and then I buy again. And or I buy in this candle as it's reclaiming the 9 EMA, and then adding for the break, and a reclaim, back over 360 and run through the high. That's what I was looking for right there. After this candle is supposed to rip through the high. Pulled back, sold it again. I added, my 1,000 shares here on this candle. I thought it was going to be green, and then it flips red on me and down, another 10 cents on a 1,500 shares. So it's another $150 loss. And it just added up and added up and added up. And then here, guts back over the 9 EMA. I'm like, all right, this is going to be it. Get in 1,000 shares. I'm looking to get aggressive. Add another 1,500 shares, and then just get stuffed in this level. And, I have to start unwinding some for a loss, because I cannot stomach another, $150 loss, $200 loss. And so I'm just getting cut up. I'm just getting cut up left and right on here, all in this chop. And so, what I should have done has just been took my loss there. I'd be down, $150, $200 on the day. And then, wait for some clear momentum to come back in. And this, it didn't break over to pivot. You wanted to wait for it to break back over with 360 and hold for the break at 369, which is the high. But I didn't do that. I was getting too antsy, and I was right on the day, and nothing was working for me, and I just wanted to have a good green trade, and that got to me, and I was getting in too early, getting too aggressive, and this is the price that I paid for. It's just part of trading, and that's just how I get better. And then it finally goes, but I'm not even in nearly as much size as I was, and I make about maybe half of the loss that I had in this area. I was down $500, $550. This trade I made about a 250, so maybe about 200. So right, so that'd be 350. So yeah, I'm down 389. Then I'm thinking, gonna get some more continuation. I didn't even get the biggest move here either. I'm selling at the high sixes before it even breaks out. That's just how much distrust I had in the stock. And I could have had another $150, $200, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Here I go for a 1 minute pullback and a breakout of try and get a breakout of 390 up to 4. But again, doesn't have that momentum that I'm looking for. Doesn't have the volume coming in. Had to take it off I took that one off for about a small 1 cent win. So, it's quite unfortunate that these days do happen, but I've been down this road a million times. I know that I eventually make this back within 1, 2, 3 days, 3 days max, and I'll be back at my high soon. I know that's happened. I always, it's just 1 minute pullbacks on my P&L curve. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. I'm losing in proportion to my winners. It's very, I'm taking responsible risk and sizing up accordingly. I'm not jumping from 250 shares to 2,500 shares overnight. I'm doing it, slowly and surely, and getting there gradually. And so that's the key. I'm still sizing up. Today I took bigger size than I'm used to, which is good. I'm getting my feet wet, pushing my comfort zone. However, when that happens, sometimes you could take a loss on that new big size, and then you get that huge loss that you're not really used to, and that can really shake you up. But that is what's needed, and if you want to break into that next tier of size that you want to get into, you can't only have winners in that next tier of share size that you want to get. You have to be able to weather the losses that come with that level and that size of trading. And I was in over a $10,000 position, and so a 10% loss on the day, that's $1,000. You know, I'm lucky I was only down 500. I think I remember seeing at one point, I was like, all right, I'm only down 450. I'm not down like 1,000. So, you know, really on the share size that I was using, the loss that I have right now, 380, is like a 3 or 4% loss. And even though, you know, it's big from, you know, my previous size, you know, the size I was using today, it's actually, you know, a really, you know, responsible loss. You know, I'm not taking it to all the way to 800, 900, 1,000, because, you know, I could easily be down that much with the share size that I was using. So, you know, it's just about, yeah, it's just about, you know, when you're taking losses, you know, not to keep pushing it, because, you know, I could have kept pushing. My first instinct after taking the loss was like trying to get in other stocks, but nothing was moving. And so when you're leveling up, you just have to maintain your composure through those bigger losses that you're really not used to, because it's going to stir up the emotions again, and you're going to go through that same cycle that you've been doing, you know, to level up every time trading. And so here I am trying to break into that next level. You know, yesterday I had a $574 day, and I'm like, all right, that'd be awesome if like my normal green days would now be 500, because, you know, first they were like 150. Here you can see first they were like 150 to 200, like about 1 to 200 for a couple weeks. And then I broke into 300s, and I was like ecstatic. And I started getting more consistent with 300 and 300 and 300. Yesterday I had more than a $500 day. And like now I'm trying to break into that next level of share size, which, you know, requires bigger share size to make that 500 consistently in the market. But then that also equates to, you know, bigger losses because you're taking more risks. So again, you know, this is something that I need to be able to grapple with emotionally and mentally, and overcome those hurdles to, you know, keep pushing and then try to get consistency with $500, you know, a day, you know, getting more consistent, hitting that mark. But, you know, yesterday was my first time that I hit that. So we'll see, you know, next week. I don't have any expectations. I'm just going to take it easy on the weekend. Definitely going to study up a lot, you know, on the trades that I took. I'm always, you know, reviewing the fundamentals, reviewing charts, reviewing, you know, video lessons from other traders, you know, reviewing patterns, reviewing tape, reviewing volume. I'm just always trying to get better, and, you know, it's starting to pay off. So and I think my strategy, I think my procedure to becoming a better trader is working. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because it's proven right. So, all right, that's it for me. Let's go over these blue trades here. I tried to go for a breakout here, tried to go for a breakout there. Any breakout and hold, nothing happened there. Market was crap kind of today. And here it finally broke out, but didn't have any momentum after that. So that was it on blue. I did take one trade on ADN. Let me go through this. At the open, I was looking for a red to green. I was buying this pullback to the VWAP after it broke. I thought it would hold and run, but no bueno, didn't happen. So that's it. Finishing the day down $389. It is what it is. I mean, it's part of trading, so got to accept it and move on to the next day. All right, peace. Also, if you're watching still, please hit that like button. Also, consider subscribing. Love to have you come back on future videos. And have a good weekend, guys.